What what if everything you thought that you knew about God, that you knew about all that is, was only the faintest whisper? What if the I am? What if the I am? What if when you close your eyes and you say, I am that I am, in your head, now not out loud like I did, but what if you close your eyes and say, I am that I am? What is that voice that you hear when you close your eyes and there's no words, but you hear the word, I am that I am? What if you close your eyes and imagine that you're putting your hands above your head right now, but you're not doing it in reality? What hands have moved above your head? What voice are you hearing? What if everything you thought you knew about God? What if everything you thought you knew about God was wrong? Not wrong, but only the faintest whisper. Just a signpost. What if you, as a human, what if me as a human can never truly understand what all that is, what I am, what God, what Yahweh, whatever Allah, whatever term you want to put on it? What if we can never understand? What if we can never truly understand what that is? What if we're not capable? What if I'm not capable of understanding, and maybe you're not capable of understanding as a human what that is? I get, and I'm so grateful. I get hundreds of comments on videos, and I talk about the Goddess Ériu, and I talk about the Goddess Ériu, and I talk about the Tuatha Dé Danann, and I get so many comments, and they're so positive, and it's just like an outpouring of love. It's like I'm lying down and there's just an outpouring of love on me. It's so beautiful. I'm so grateful. I cannot tell you. And I try to, I'm in the car, I'm driving for an hour, and I see comment after comment after comment, and I'm trying to get back to everybody. And I never thought I'd be in a position where, people have put in time. People have put in time out of their day to write this comment, and some of them are long. And I never thought I'd be in a position where there's like 100 comments here. I can't respond to every one of them, but I try because I'm so grateful. I am so grateful. I read everything and I try to respond to everything, and it's just an outpouring of love. It's just so positive. I'm so grateful. One of the questions that comes up from time to time, or one of the comments that comes up from time to time, is you talk about the Tuatha Dé Danann. You talk about the Goddess Ériu. Jesus is my only way. I follow Jesus. Jesus is the only way forward. And I hear you. I absolutely hear you. I grew up as a Christian. I remember sitting in church, and you would sit in church, and 99% of the time there was a boring priest who did not care up there, and you were just trying to get through the hour. Because I went to the church every Sunday growing up, but every now and again you would get this guy, and he'd have real charisma, and he'd really believe in what he was saying, really believe in what he was saying, and you would feel it, and he would really believe in what he's saying, and you'd be like, yeah, wow. And he'd do the sermon, and you'd be like, yeah, wow, that's incredible. And you would feel it. And you would feel connected to whatever is up there that we cannot understand or know what it is ever. But you would feel connected to whatever it is. Every now and again, you just get this charismatic guy that would just be really make you believe. And I, at various points in my life, I'm very connected with the Christian message. Absolutely. I'm not going to deny any of that. But if you in a comment are going to tell me that Jesus is the only way, so meaning that every Jew, that every Muslim, that every Buddhist, every Sikh, is going to burn in hell forever because Jesus isn't their signpost, their doorway. I can't sign up to that. I cannot sign up to that. I'm very, very, very curious. I've done some Kabbalah study. I bought the Bhagavad Gita. I've never read it. I felt like I needed to buy it, and it's been sitting there and I want to read it. I will at some stage. And obviously I know a lot of the Bible just from growing up and hearing it. But there is power. There is power in Ireland, in the Goddess Ériu, in connecting to that. There's power when you think about the 40-foot tall beings of light in Ireland. There's real power in that. So if you want to tell me Jesus is the only way, I respect that Jesus is your signpost to the all that is, to the I am, to the Yahweh. Jesus is your signpost to that, and you connect in with that. I respect that 100%. But I can't say that's the only way. So everyone who doesn't go that direction is going to burn in hell forever. Not signing up to it, sorry. Anthony de Mello. I connected in very, very deeply with Anthony de Mello. Anthony de Mello is an Indian Jesuit. Now, he was just the most charismatic guy. He talked about awakening and waking up. And I would connect in with him and I would listen to him for hours and hours and hours. And to the point where I would put them on for other people to listen to, and other people would be like, what is that? So everybody has their own person. And then I realized, okay, this is I connecting with this. Other people don't understand. But everyone has their own personal doorway. So I'm open to absolutely everything. But if you tell me that there's no power in the Tuatha De Danann, those incredible stories, those incredible beings. If you tell me that when I walk through a forest, the Glen of the Downs forest in Ireland, and I feel a connection with the land, I feel a connection with the Gaelic land. As a Gaelic man, I feel a connection with the Gaelic land. If you tell me that when I look out on the most beautiful Glendalough lakes and I see my ancestors and I feel the feeling and I'm connected with that land, if you tell me that that's not powerful, then you're wrong. You're wrong. But there is power in Jesus too. And Jesus said, before Abraham was, I am. Jesus is trying to tell you something deeper. Jesus is trying to tell you something deeper than just that he is the only way. He's not telling you that. He's telling you that God is within you. God is within you, but God cannot be understood. So Anthony de Mello was an Indian Jesuit, so he was, he's in the Jesuit order. But God is something that is just beyond whatever God is, and whatever you want to call it, the I am, Allah, whatever you want to call it, it's beyond what we can understand. But the truth is that since the dawn of time, we have looked out. We have looked to the land, we've looked to the skies, we have looked to our ancient stories to connect with something greater than ourselves, to connect with something much bigger than ourselves. And every tradition has their signposts. Every tradition has their signposts. And I, as a Gaelic man, I work with a man who's Sikh and he wears a turban, and I look at him and I think, he's connected. He's connected to who he is. Who he is. He understands him. Maybe he doesn't, maybe we just all wear this, I don't know. But from me looking, I'm thinking, wow, he really connected to who he is. He understands it, and he's standing there proudly. And I, as a Gaelic man, have forgotten who I am. And that's why I went on this journey. That's why I went on this journey, to remember who I am. And that's why I'm making these videos, so you can come along on the journey with me or do your own journey. But I'm on a journey. I'm not a man who claims to understand everything or claims to be an expert. I'm learning from the greats. from Bertie Brosnan, from Irish Pagan School, from the Brehon Academy, from Thomas Sheridan. I'm reading Thomas Sheridan's books. So I'm learning from the greats. I'm not an expert. I'm someone who's on a journey. And I'm hoping, I didn't realise, I said I'd make the videos about going along on my journey, and I didn't realise there was thousands and thousands and thousands of people who were interested. I just thought I'd make the videos and 10 people would watch them, but it turns out thousands and thousands of views and thousands of comments, and I didn't realise that was going to happen. I'm really grateful, but I didn't realise that was going to happen. I wanted to share my journey. But in the lands of Ireland, we speak of the Goddess Ériu. We speak of the Tuatha De Danann, huge 40-foot beings of light. We speak of Danu. And in other cultures, they speak of Buddha, they speak of all kinds of prophets. And other cultures have their gods and their prophets, but they all aren't only signposts to something, all it is that we can never understand. They're all only signposts. And anything name that we put on God, any name that we put on God, no matter what that name is an idol. Any name that you put on God is an idol. Because you cannot name the unnameable. You cannot. It's kind of like Anthony de Mello tells a story of he's in Florida and there's a hurricane, and he wants to show his friends in India what a Floridian hurricane is like. It's just this incredible. He could feel the power of the wind and the electricity in the air, and he wants to explain this to his friends in India. So he takes out a lunchbox and he captures the storm. In the lunchbox, so he can take it back to India and show them, and he can open the lunchbox and say, this is a Floridian storm. But you can't catch the storm in a lunchbox. The storm is a moving thing. It's a verb. The second you make it a noun, it's not a thing. And you can't capture God in a lunchbox and bring him back and say, this is God. This is the only way to God. At the end of the day, we're all trying to do the same thing. We're trying to remember who we are. We're trying to remember where we came from. I didn't create myself. And we're trying to remember that we're connected to something much bigger, much more powerful than us, but is inside us. We have access to that power. Every day, you can feel your access to that immense power, which is much more than you are. That's all we're trying to do. Our ancestors didn't pretend that they knew the mystery, that they could understand the mystery. They honoured the mystery. They told stories about it. They didn't tell stories to explain it away. They tell stories to keep the feeling alive, keep the excitement alive. Anthony de Mello says, if you don't feel this, if you don't feel this excitement, if you don't feel this connection, if you don't feel this power, what are you religious for? What are you spiritual for if you don't feel this now? That's what Anthony de Mello says, an Indian Jesuit. You are never meant to have all the answers, and I was never meant to have all the answers. We are not meant to have all the answers. We're meant to walk the path. We're meant to walk the path of mystery. We're meant to hope that whatever power is above us will meet us along the way and guide us, bring us and guide us, and have that adventure. Take that adventure. This is the path. This is the path of the seeker. This is the path of the child of Ériu. This is the path of the warrior. You were never meant to know, understand the non-understandable. You were supposed to explore and create and connect in with that inspiration, the unknowable, in order to create absolute magic in this world. That's why we're here.